Michelle Obama has been a very inspirational figure in our lives for the past 7 years. We've seen her give amazing speeches, complete heartfelt tasks, and really conquer her and her husband's fears along each other's side this past 7 years. I've always wondered the history on such an inspirational woman, like what her childhood was like, what inspirational figures she may have had in her career, and just what brought her to where she is today. This past week I've gotten to research Michelle Obama, her life, what has brought her to where she is today, her education, just everything about Michelle Obama I've gotten to learn, and I'm very excited to share that with you today. Michelle Obama was born January 17th, 1964 in Chicago, Illinois. She has one mom, one dad, and a brother his name is Craig, and he's only 9 months older than Michelle. They lived in a one-bedroom apartment in Chicago. The living room was actually split in half, and one half was the actual living room, other half was Michelle's bedroom. So it was they were not very wealthy at all, pretty poor, just not a lot of space for the family. She grew up hearing her grandfather's story. Her grandfather was denied union membership because of his race, because of being African American. And Craig and Michelle grew up hearing this. They were very touched by it, I guess, very inspired. They learned, despite any prejudice, to go and succeed, no matter what race or color you are. Her mother was a receptionist, a secretary, and her father was a city pump worker. So they didn't have very good jobs, obviously. Both her parents never attended college. It was never in the cards for them to attend college. Both Craig and Michelle, both of them skipped 2nd grade, and Michelle was in special classes for excelled students in 8th grade. She went to Whitney M. Young Magnet High School. She graduated from there in 1981. Counselors constantly encouraged her not to apply to Princeton College because they didn't think she was smart enough. They didn't think she'd get in, mostly because of her race, because of the prejudice at that time that were holding her back from that. She did get into Princeton. She actually graduated with honors from Princeton. She was one of the few black students there that attended the college at that time. She graduated with a bachelor's in sociology, a minor in that, and then African studies in 1985. That was her undergraduate degree. She then went on to Harvard Law University, and she faced prejudice, just common ones that at that time came along with being black. She graduated from there in 1988. Her professors would describe her as forthright, determined, and just kept going no matter what circumstance she was under. After graduation, post-graduation, she joined the law firm Sidley Austin. She was an associate specializing in marketing and intellectual property. The summer of 1988, after working there for almost a year, she was assigned to a summer intern 2 years older than her. His name was Barack Obama. At first, Michelle was really hesitant towards Barack. Barack liked her. She would not give him a chance, and it took a couple months for her and Barack to actually start dating. They obviously started dating in 1988, in the fall. In 1991, her father died, and Michelle really took an eye-opening about her career and really thought about what she wanted to do. And she decided that she wanted to work in the public sector and leave her work in corporate law. First in the public sector, she was an assistant to the Chicago mayor at the time, Richard M. Daley. Later on, that wasn't working for her as much, so she then became the assistant commissioner of planning and development. And as she was working on that, her marriage happened in 1992 with Barack. She had already been with him 3.5 years of dating. In 1993, she found the Public Allies of Chicago. She found that herself. It was an organization that provided young adults with leadership training for public service careers. So that was a very inspirational thing that she had founded herself. In 1996, she began her work at the University of Chicago. She was the Associate Dean of Student Services, so a very different atmosphere than what she had been used to, but still education and still a very, very good career. At that university, she had established its very first community service program, a very positive thing for students to get involved in. In 2002, she was named University of Chicago Hospital's Executive Director of Community and External Affairs, so a very positive reward, very positive to what she was doing. She obviously had to do a lot of balancing of family, career, and politics now that Barack was getting into that too. Her husband in 2004 was elected U.S. Senate. She didn't stop with her career. She didn't want to stop going with her career, even though Barack was going back and forth from Washington, D.C. to Chicago. She was doing so much traveling, but she still wanted to have a career of her own for herself. She was appointed Vice President of Community and External Affairs at Chicago University Medical Center in 2005. Like I said, she refused to give up her work despite Barack's traveling. In 2007, though, when Barack started running for president, started his presidential campaign, she cut down her work schedule by 80%, and this was in 2007 she did this. Lastly, Michelle Obama is widely recognized as an outspoken, determined, and strongly willed woman. She has continued to juggle a career, politics, family, and her daughters time and time again. Her positions indicate progressive ideas on the roles of both women and men in the society.